All right, so why I quit Based Zeus? Why did I retire the Based Zeus animation, the name, everything? I've been meaning to make this video for months, so I figured I would just say fuck it, turn on the camera, and tell you directly exactly what's been happening with the channel and the business as a whole, and why there was such a drastic change. I know for a lot of people, I've gotten lots of comments. People have said, oh, you fell off, he's running out of ideas, he doesn't know what to do anymore with the channel. It's not really what happened. It was not a decision that I made overnight or something that was done, you know, in the heat of the moment. It was something that just over time became more and more obvious and apparent to me, and I kind of figured I would just explain why. So the Based Zeus channel started in 2016, July 3rd, 2016, I believe is the first day, the first video that was ever uploaded on the channel. And since July 2016 all the way till about, I would say, the early stages of 2022, we posted probably close to 400 long-form YouTube videos. Because again, this is before, 2016 all the way up until 2019, 2020 is when TikTok started getting popular. Short-form content was not a thing. It was not popular. And in that 6 or 7 year period from 2016 to 2022, there was 300 or 400 full long-form videos that went up on the channel. The channel grew really fast from the start. And it was definitely by design, because when the idea for Based Zeus was born and, I was brainstorming and coming up with it and we were creating it, it was really a very intentional idea in that we knew that dating content on YouTube was something that wasn't really good, especially back in the day. I'm talking really back in the day, even pre-2016. The best dating advice videos you could get was like a cheesy, corny expert village video teaching you how to kiss or how to talk to a girl, and it was these two actors and they were like 2 or 3 minutes long, and it was the most generic advice you've ever heard of. And dating content on YouTube fell into two camps. There was guys who would cover men's lifestyle or grooming or fashion, and every once in a while they'd make a video about dating, and it would just be kind of very generic stuff like just be confident or get a better haircut, etc., which is not bad advice, but it's not very actionable, and it's not going to make a massive make or break change for the guy. They're important things, but it's not really practical. Say this, do this, here's what you need to do, here's how to think about male, female psychology, here's how to approach the girl, etc. On the other hand, you had pickup artists who had their own culture with all of their own jargon and terms. The problem with pickup content and dating content at that time from the pickup artists in that community is that not only, number one, it was mostly weirdos and creepy people who really didn't have any social skills. I remember when I would try and watch YouTube videos as a normal guy, I'm like, well, these guys are fucking weirdos. Of course they need to do all of this extra shit and play all of these games. So it was never really appealing to me. And then, of course, the generic lifestyle content from lifestyle influencers wasn't really useful either. So there was a gap in the market. And because of that gap, I felt it made sense to make content that addressed this. Content for a guy who's normal, who just wants actionable, to the point dating advice that's no bullshit. Because the other thing with these pickup artist channels was that they would make these like 30 or 40 minute long videos that was just, it had a really high barrier to entry. If you're a normal guy and you just want to learn how to have better relationships with women, how to flirt better, how to talk to women, this wasn't really the best type of content for you, because it's like these guys are all weird, they're wearing weird outfits, they're telling me to say all of these lines and memorize all of this shit. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think that's why dating as a whole, as a genre, never really did super well on YouTube prior to 2016. So the idea for Based Zeus was to make not only entertaining, short, actionable, and to the point videos. I mean, if you watch the first few videos on Zeus, they were all like 2, 3, 4 minutes long. They were not long at all, and that was by design. We wanted to make punchy, entertaining, low barrier to entry. Literally any guy off the street could watch the video. He could learn something and he can go out and execute on what he learned right then and there in that video. And we wanted it to be funny. And because that was the idea for it, it made sense to make the content animated. Because when the content was animated, not only was it another way to separate ourselves from all of the other guys just talking to the camera and, giving content like this, it was also really a way to be more entertaining and to also make the content about the content so that people would focus on the ideas rather than who was saying it, which is a big thing that we won't get into for now. But a lot of times people won't take the advice on its own merit if they feel like, oh, well, this guy's like jacked, or this guy isn't, super good looking, or, whatever. So the reason I give all this context as to how dating was and what content on YouTube was like at that time is really just to say that the channel blew up really quickly. Within 6 months, the channel hit its first 100K subscribers. I think it was 6 or 7 months. We had 100K subscribers, which is crazy. It was really big growth at that time. It was something that was honestly really amazing. But some of the downsides of growing super fast is that when you have a large audience, you tend to lose sort of the intimate personal touch that you have with the audience and the viewers and the people who are watching what you put out. And since the channel blew up so quickly, and we hit 100K in 6 months, 1 million subscribers only 2 years after starting, which is insane growth. The channel was always on this huge upward trajectory that was probably pretty unsustainable for a channel like that. But not only that, the other thing to consider was that when you have hundreds of thousands of views, honestly millions of views every single month, and millions or tens of thousands of comments all the time, you start to view and interact with your audience as just numbers on a screen. And although people will send you messages and send you comments about how your advice helped them, your content changed their life, etc., and it feels really good, you kind of develop banner blindness. You become a little numb to it because you don't know these people. This is just comments and words on a screen. So around March of 2022, I decided that I wanted to redevelop that personal touch and that personal relationship with the audience. And the reason for it was because when I first started making dating content on YouTube, it was really because dating was something that it was always a topic that I was interested in. Ever since I was fucking 14, 15 years old, me and my friends would go to the mall and approach girls. It was like every single Saturday we would have one of our parents drive us to the mall and we'd go and approach girls. And it was like the most fun thing, and that experience and that journey was something that was super impactful, and it shaped a lot of my life, my ability to talk to people, my ability to feel comfortable and confident in social situations. It helped me in so many aspects, and honestly, it's made me a ton of money just because those social skills, the ability to maintain relationships, is really what business is all about at the end of the day. So, when I was in high school, I would always help my friends with dating advice when they were talking to girls. I was kind of like the guy that my friends would come to help with dating, and to see the advice that I would give them, and for them to be able to observe that transformation. Especially, there's a couple of my friends in high school that I really helped out, that really that transformation is what made me obsessed with it, because I knew how much of a impact that transformation had on me. And it was just a ton of fun to go through that process and to watch other people go through that process over and over again. So I decided, I never really tried a coaching program. The business model for Base Zeus was interesting because first we did sponsored. First we thought, okay, we'll just make money as YouTubers off AdSense. But by the time the channel blew up, the 2017 adpocalypse happened. So by the time we were getting any views where it would have been meaningful to make money from the views on the channel, it really wasn't anything at the end of the day. I think the most we ever made from AdSense was like $4,000 in a month, which obviously is not a small amount of money, but it's an animated channel. I think we had 3 or 4 animators at the peak, and the channel's animated. It's high production value compared to just picking up a camera and editing. And editors who animate, that capability is rarer, so it costs more money. So it was barely even enough to, I don't even think 4K a month was anywhere close to cover the expenses to run the channel at the time. So we knew we had to monetize a different way, so we started monetizing through sponsorships for a while. And the sponsorship model was great because it allowed me to basically share brands that I thought were awesome and to share cool products with you guys in a way that made sense with the channel. But over time, the sponsorship model became a bit of a treadmill. And what I noticed is that the problem with the sponsorship model is that you only get paid once for a video. So let's just say a brand pays you $1,000 to promote them in their video. Well, you make $1,000 off that video, but then if you want to get paid again, you need to make another video, which is like, you can see how it quickly becomes a hamster wheel. And I didn't really want to repeat myself a bunch in content. I always wanted the content to feel authentic. And when you have to make a sponsored video because that's the way you're making money, you have to keep making content regardless, because you make a video once, you get paid once, that's it. So I transitioned to the course model and we started selling our first courses in 2019, which was amazing. The course model for a business like this and a channel like this where you're making educational content is the best, because people come to the channel because they want to learn something. There's some sort of educational value that they're getting. So when you put together a course, it's really just a focused, targeted series of videos and standard operating procedures, checklists, etc. You bring them through an entire process to develop that skill that you've been educating them on, and you get to control your own refund policy, which is great. You can control the entire experience that your customers get, which is not something that you can say when you work with sponsors. So I liked having that extra element of control, and I also felt like it just made sense to sell more of what the audience was coming to us for. So the course model was great, and the benefit of that was I didn't need to make as many videos in order to make the channel profitable, in order to pay the editors, employees, etc. So that model was amazing, because if I post a video promoting my course once, I make money from that forever, because the links to that course are there forever, and every single person who watches that video can go and buy that course. And you make something once, obviously we update the courses regularly to make sure that they're great. But that was something that I thought was great, and we did that model for 2.5, almost 3 years. But once 2022 rolled around, I felt like I was missing that personal connection that I had with dating and that style of content, and really the whole reason that I started doing YouTube dating content to begin with. So I decided that I wanted to launch a coaching program. It was something that I had never done before, but I did like how the courses would get guys epic testimonials, and they would get guys epic results. We had a few small little communities attached to the courses that guys would join, and it was fun to interact with guys in that way. So I wanted to launch a coaching program so that I could interact and see and be a really intimate element of these transformations. So I launched the coaching program back in March of 2022, and immediately it did extremely well. Not only did it do extremely well, but it was amazing. It was so much fun. I developed amazing relationships with all of the clients and the guys who would come through and get epic results. I'm in real life friends with some of the clients that I've worked with inside of the coaching program now. And really, the benefit of this program was that I was able to help people in a way that I hadn't helped them in years. And it finally allowed me to develop that personal touch with the audience again. So all of that to say, the coaching program was great, but the problem is Zeus is a fucking cartoon at the end of the day, right? It's animated. When people would interview to join the course, or when people would interview to join the coaching rather, and they wanted to learn more about it, and when they got in, it's like, okay, I've been watching Zeus this whole time. I had never really been in the content at that point. I was only in the content maybe 4 or 5 videos maximum on the channel. So, when it came time for people to get coached by me, they were excited and it was great, but it created a problem in that people would show up and be like, okay, so am I going to get coached by Zeus, or how does that work? Because Zeus is a cartoon. It just was really incongruent with the new direction of the channel and how we were choosing to monetize it. The other thing is that I had made 300 or 400 videos in that period of time in the same exact way, in that same animated format. And although the animated format is a lot of fun and you can be really creative with it, The problem is that it is inherently limiting. And a big thing that a lot of my private clients inside of my coaching program would want to come to me for is they would want help with their in-person approaching. They were like, hey bro, like, because the coaching program is something that we cover a lot in, right? Not only do we cover dating apps, I literally personally build your dating app profiles for you. I build your Instagram profile for you. I help you get a photo shoot. Literally, we do all of the heavy lifting of your profiles for you. And then we also show you exactly how to go out and approach women in person. And as guys came in through the program and they developed that personal relationship with me, and the coaching was obviously done entirely by me. Zeus is, like I said, Zeus is a fucking cartoon. It became more and more incongruent to promote the coaching program and to make that the centerpiece of what the channel was doing, because truthfully, if someone wants to be coached, they want to be coached by a person. It doesn't make a lot of sense when that you're watching a cartoon and then you're going to go and get coached, sometimes in person. I've done some in-person coaching over the last year as well. It doesn't make sense that you're going to get coached by someone every single week. They're going to know all of the intimate details of your life, your dating life, etc., and it's a cartoon. So that incongruence made it that Zeus was just limiting the potential of the business and the content. And like I said, I felt I had gotten to a point where I had said everything I needed to say in that format as the cartoon, as Zeus, and that it was time for a more mature and sophisticated approach and take on dating. The other thing that happened was that the red pill movement became a lot more popular, and I saw this starting to gain some traction in 2019. But the red pill movement became popular, so people wanted to hear about dating in a different light. Obviously, I'm not super in alignment with red pill content, so it didn't make sense to try and make content in that regard. It would have just been inauthentic and truthfully, I think counterproductive and really harmful for a lot of guys who are trying to get real results in their dating life. So the red pill became more popular. So the format that, I was doing with Zeus became less popular. People started watching more short form content on TikTok, Reels, etc., shorts. So long form just wasn't as popular. You'll notice a lot of people post on YouTube less nowadays because most people watch short form and it's easier to make short form content. The other thing is that the short form channels completely blew the fuck up for us. Once I did the transition from Zeus to me, because if you're going to get coached by me, you should probably be watching me in the content. You should get a sense of who the person is that you want to get coached by. When I started making the shorts content, it blew up and it grew significantly. So that's why this channel, I haven't really posted on it much in the last couple months, because most of my focus has been on the coaching program, scaling that up, and really focused on short form content, because that's, I mean, in the last year alone, we've gained almost 1 million followers on between short form platforms, which is insane growth. Like it's insane the amount of growth that you can get with shorts. So that's why the YouTube channel has kind of taken a back seat, because it's easier for me to come up with content on shorts because they're only a minute long, 30 seconds long. But I still felt like I wasn't sure of the format and the way I wanted to address videos in long form on YouTube. And I didn't want to force anything. And luckily, the business, I know a lot of people, I see comments like, oh, Zeus, you fell off. Oh, he's running out of ideas. He doesn't know what to do. Bring Zeus back. Full disclosure, at least from a revenue perspective, this is the best year the business has had ever, by a long shot, by a very significant amount. Even though the YouTube channel, you could say, is less active and we get less views on the YouTube channel than ever. In fact, the year before when Zeus was getting more views than we're getting now, the channel was actually making, the business as a whole was making less money. And truthfully, I would be making even more money if I was just posting on YouTube long form all the time. But ultimately, I'm glad that short form has become a big part of the business. I mean, 50% of our revenue now comes from short form platforms alone, which is awesome. But it also gave me the time and space to think about what is the new direction I want to take the channel in. And all of the new potential directions that I was most interested and excited about, and what I thought would be most valuable to the viewers and the people who would come through the coaching program, none of it was in alignment with making animated cartoon videos anymore. So that's why ultimately I made the decision to get rid of it. And right now I am gearing up. I think 10 days from now, it'll probably be about 2 weeks from now until you see it. About 10 days from now, I will be embarking on the biggest heroic mission YouTube challenge that I've ever done. This is the longest I've gone without posting on YouTube. I haven't posted on YouTube in 2 months on the main channel, I guess a month now almost, but for the entire 5-6 years that I was making YouTube videos as Zeus with the Zeus animations, I didn't go in. The longest I had ever gone without making a video was 2 weeks, and that was a long time. So this has been my biggest layoff from YouTube, but for good reason, because this is going to be the most I've ever posted coming up in the new year. It's going to be the most I've ever posted on YouTube. I'm doing an insane challenge, but it also is exciting because now that I've officially retired the base Zeus name and got rid of the animation, there's so much more freedom and creativity that I can do with the content that's ultimately going to make for better videos, going to make for better results for the guys watching the videos, and it's going to honestly just be way more fun for you, the viewer, and for myself making the content. Like I mentioned, a big thing that I've worked on with clients over the last couple years is in-person approaching, right? A lot of clients that I work with live in cities. They get access to access to lots of women that they get to encounter and see on a day-to-day basis. So it's a big thing we've worked on, and that's why I've made more and more content around that. And obviously, an animated cartoon is going to go out and approach girls. So that clearly doesn't make any sense. But ultimately, all that to say, I know this is a super long video. I'm excited that I can finally do everything that I need to do to provide the most value for you guys, to provide the most value and generate the most value for the business and really give back. So I'm excited for the new year. This is going to be the most I've ever posted on YouTube ever by far. The challenge and the content that's coming out is truly insane and unlike anything anyone has ever done on YouTube before. So I'm very excited. If you are interested in the coaching, obviously I talked about it a lot. You can check the first link in the description. We're doing a discount for the new year. And you can also check my brand new course where I show you how to approach girls in person. The reason I was able to make that course is because now that I'm filming all the content in person, you can see it in action. So if you're interested in any of that. But that's it. Thank you for making it to the end of this update video. I appreciate those of you guys who are still sticking around almost 8 years later from when we first started making the Zeus content. And I'm excited to keep growing with you guys into the new year.